just what, I mean, now seeing it last night, what makes Carolina's penalty kill?
They've had a good penalty kill for a while. I think first off, you start with the people that are on it. Jordan Stahl, Slavin, Pesci. Those guys are really, really long, so their structure isn't that much different than certain teams, but they do a real good job because of how good defensive players they are and how long they are. They do a good job pressuring, and they kind of have pretty good smart pressure. And when you smart pressure in the zone, you create a lot of loose pucks, and it's hard for the other team to score against. So that's what I'd start with.
And Sarkhan?
Okay, Jeff, just how much of a boost is it games like last night? You can get like the third and fourth lines kind of get you going offensively.
I don't know if it's it's a boost, but it's a boost because we scored, and I think it's important that the more lines that score, the better team you are, because the more you're going to score. And you got to defend for sure. We've talked lots about that, but certainly if you're relying on one or two lines to score, you're only going to score so much. There's just so much output that's going to be there. So if everybody's scoring, you're a more dangerous team. And not only did some of those lines score, I thought both the Veleno and the Rowney line had a lot of good minutes, where they played real good hockey and had chances, and they could have scored more.
Your thoughts on that Carter Rowney's play since he's come back, aside from that scoring goals, it seems like just being involved, getting in that front and creating havoc there. Just how would you assess the way he's looked here since he's come back?
I think he's done a good job. He's been on the net for sure. He's a guy that knows how to get to the net. He's a good defensive player. He's smart. He knows how to play from the D side of the puck. He knows how to kind of manage his minutes in his own end. I think he'll make us a better defensive team overall. And I think he can play kind of a grind style and get to the net, and the type of goals that you need to score against real good teams, because they're not going to give you lots of easy looks. So, it's been a positive to have him back for sure.
And just a further update on Verana as far as timeline or anything?
Just waiting on some, assessment still. So, when I have a more definitive answer, I'll let you guys know.
So you don't know the status yet for the weekend, or
waiting on some testing and consult with the doctor, and then I'll know his status. Yep.
Daniela Bruce?
Just checking in on the vibes, coach. It seems like they've had to have been a little better the past few days.
Good vibes only. Good vibes only. So yeah, no, it was. I actually thought our morning skate yesterday was really good. I just thought the energy level was better. I think it's easy to get down and kind of lose your confidence quick in this league. It's just one of those. It's just the reality of it, and you got to find a way to kind of stem that and get yourself going. I thought we did that in the morning skate. I thought it was good, and obviously, it's a way better atmosphere when you win. It's way more fun.
And how important is that? I mean, the stretch of games that you guys are in, you're playing some of the best teams in the league.
Yeah, you got to find ways to win hockey games, and I think when you do find ways to win against some of the best teams in the league, you feel that much better about yourself. You've done it against a really good team. That's a team last night that I think a lot of people think of has a real chance to win a Stanley Cup. And I thought we played real good at the end of the night. We outchanced them. Probably had the better quality chances. Felt like we deserved to win the game, and so it certainly it picks the room up for sure. Winning is a huge thing in terms of how you feel about yourself, and winning the right way, especially, which I thought we did last night. Yeah.
Lane St. James.
Jeff, you guys have done a good job overall of following up a loss with a victory. Toronto notwithstanding there, but what do you need to do to keep the momentum going? Because you guys have stayed around 500 now for a while, but you haven't been able to kind of rise above the waterline.
Yeah, we had the one stretch, I don't remember, it all blends together now, where I think we won 6 or 7 in a row, and we got ourselves up above it, and then obviously we weren't able to maintain that. That's what it takes. You got to go on some runs now. Obviously we're going into 2 tough buildings here, 2 real good teams, 2 of the best teams in the league. So I think right now we just got to focus on trying to win the game against Tampa. We're gonna have to. I think the question is, what do we need to do? We're gonna have to play great hockey. Again, to beat these types of teams, you have to play great hockey, and you have to find ways to limit their chances. And you have to find ways to create while you're doing that, and that's not always easy. But we think when we play our best hockey with the type of competing that we had last night, work ethic that we had last night, then we think we can play with everybody in the league and find ways to win if we do that.
And is it just extra imperative to have that mentality right from the first puck drop? Because, I think you guys you got the power play early, didn't score, but generated some momentum. But I mean, if Tampa, they can score, so you're not digging yourselves out, just to know that you can't work yourselves into it, even if it's just a matter of a few minutes.
Yeah, there's no doubt that when you get scored on quick, it can be hard, especially if you're in a tough kind of slide like we were. So I think that first stretch, a couple minutes there last night, Ned had one real big save in that mix, and they had some pressure on us, and I thought we defended pretty well, but they had the better momentum until we got the power play. And once we got the power play, I thought, that did drive our momentum a lot. The games are going to ebb and flow. And certainly it helps if you can, right from the drop of the puck, put the pressure on them. But reality is there's going to be momentum, back and forth, and you got to be able to handle those different moments. You got to make sure that, you're trying to score when you have those opportunities to score, because it's critical that you don't fall behind too far against a great team. So eliminate their ability to score as much as you can. And then when you have opportunities, you got to find ways to score.
Leslie, just how much does it ease your job a little bit when you have four lines that either they're scoring or they're generating chances, that they're playing in the opponent's end, that you're not, constantly trying to, okay, how much can I put Dylan's line out there?
Yeah, I think it's a huge thing. And, I think ultimately Dylan, Burt, those Raymond, their ice time got too high last night, but a lot of that was in overtime. They spent that final 2 minutes on the ice, and they had some other extra shifts. I think they would have been around 19 prior to that. And you can only get that kind of minutes if you can balance your lineup a little bit. And I trusted all four lines last night, and that's what it takes. When your lines go out and they play good and they earn your trust, and then you can just keep rolling them out there, and you kind of get shorter shifts. You're rolling your lines over, and you become the four-line team that I think everybody wants to be in order to have success.
Thank you.
Zach Colton.
Jeff, Michael Rasmussen, with his rookie season several years ago, how tough was that for a kid like that to play? I mean, you guys didn't have a ton of opportunity for him either. And you think it helped him in the long run, or did it stunt his growth a little bit at the start, you think? Or what do you think?
Those are always hard questions because you don't know what the reverse would have been. You can always look at a situation and say, well, we should have done this. But you don't really know what that would have looked like. If you would have went back, basically the choice we had was keep or send him back to junior. I'd watched him play junior the year before. He was honestly in playoffs. He was a little bit like a man amongst boys. So sometimes when you're, that physically bigger than other guys, you don't learn some of the things you have to learn against bigger men. So I think that you could make arguments both ways. I think in the end, there's a lot of paths to get to where you want to get to, and there's certain things that you have to do in order to have success. And one of them is to persevere mentally. And most players are going to face tough stretches. And, Ras has had a few tough stretches, whether it was that first year where he was fine, he played fine, but then the next year he gets sent down. That's a hard thing, and I think the next year he gets sent down again at the beginning of the year. And so now you got to find a way to mentally grind through that. And honestly, that's what it takes. It's not always going to be easy. It's not always going to be full of people just giving you confidence, because confidence comes from opportunity, and you just can't hand out opportunity like candy. You can only give it to certain people. There's only so many spots, and so you got to find ways to grind, and he's done that.
Hey, when did you notice kind of a U-turn in him? Was it like last year that he came back after COVID, like from Europe? It seemed like he was a little different player then. Did you notice a time, or was there something somewhere along the way that you kind of like, all right, this guy is an NHL player here for sure?
Yeah, I don't know if it was one moment, but certainly at some point, I thought he said kind of, I'm going to show you, and kind of dug in and found a way to put himself to where, he's been a pretty regular player for us here. And now he's got another show me a moment, I think right now he's trying to dig in and show us he deserves more. And that's what it takes. The player's job ultimately is to demand more ice time. That's the reality. Certainly there's opportunity involved in that, but the reality is if you demand it over and over and over again, eventually you're going to get it.
The last one, is Carter Rowney a little bit of a revelation? I mean, did you expect him to come in and become, somewhat of a regular here, or what?
I didn't know what to expect, Ted. He's been a guy who's done a good job in the NHL, so we knew that he could be a good NHL player. At the beginning of the year, I thought he got off to a slow start in training camp, to be honest with you. So we got behind, and I had, we had Stevens ahead of him a little bit. We had some guys ahead of him, and next thing you know, he was out of the lineup, and it was a hard kind of stretch. But once he got in and started playing, you could see that he could think his way through the game pretty good. He's a big body. I think his quickness to make decisions got better as he got more comfortable systematically, and I think he's done a real good job because of it.
Stuff. Thanks for this, Jeff.
Yep, thank you.
Carly Johnson.
The team had a good all-around game last night. What are the differences we saw in the wings last night versus the wings we saw Saturday night?
Well, I would say they're almost two polar opposites. Saturday was probably one of the least amount of kind of competing energy that we've had. For whatever reason, we just didn't have it that night. And I'd say last night I thought our compete level was really high. We didn't do everything perfect, but our compete level was really high. Our work ethic level was really high. Our sacrifice level was high. And I think if you do those things, you can work, you can win your way past mistakes. And I thought we did a good job of that.
Tampa Bay Lightning, we saw them opening night. It was a fun game. Unfortunately, Wings got the loss in overtime. What needs to happen to make sure we pick up 2 points instead of 1 on Friday night?
Well, it's always a tough task against Tampa. They're a really good team. They're the defending Cup champions for a reason. So, we're going to have to play our A game is probably the easiest way to say it. Like to a person, we're going to have to play our A game, and we're going to have to make sure that we're playing that sound defensive hockey, but yet creating opportunities. And like I said, when we create opportunities, we got to find ways to score. They got a back-to-back. I don't know who will be in net, but obviously when Vasilevsky plays, he's always one of the best goalies in the league, and they got a real good decor. So it'll be a great challenge.
Thanks, Coach.
Yep.
That's it for us today. Thanks, everyone.